Cancer. When I sat down to pull cards for you about this situation, with someone pretending to be your friend, the energy hit me immediately. I need you to understand, this is a general reading for entertainment purposes, and I am interpreting what I see in these cards. Take what resonates and leave what does not, because this is not meant to replace professional advice. But what came through is so specific, so charged with revelation, that I have to share everything. There is someone in your orbit who has worn the mask of friendship so convincingly that you probably questioned your own intuition when it whispered warnings. The cards are showing me deception, yes, but more importantly, the unraveling. The moment when pretense crumbles and truth stands naked in the light. This is about future energy, what is building in the invisible currents around this situation. I am not giving you timeframes or dates because spirit does not work that way, but what I see is a cascade already in motion, dominoes falling one by one until the final truth becomes undeniable to everyone watching. The energy feels electric, like static building before lightning strikes. The Ace of Wands practically jumped from the deck, bringing fierce, initiating energy that felt almost aggressive in its clarity. This card is raw creative fire, the spark that ignites everything, and in your situation, this is the initial burst of truth energy that started this whole exposure process. When I look at this ace, I see a hand emerging from clouds gripping a wooden staff, sprouting fresh green leaves, symbolizing new growth from what seemed dead. The energy I am sensing suggests there was a specific catalyst moment where everything shifted. Maybe you finally voiced a suspicion, someone brought information forward, or you simply stepped back far enough to see the pattern clearly for the first time. What is really interesting is that aces represent beginnings. But this is not the beginning of the deception. This is the beginning of the revelation. This fake friend thought they could continue indefinitely, managing their double life, saying one thing to your face and another behind your back. But the Ace of Wands says that game is over. The initiation has begun. From what I am interpreting, this started small, just a nagging feeling in your gut that something was off, or a tiny inconsistency you could not ignore. Cancer, your emotional radar is sophisticated. When this ace appeared, it felt like that moment when you finally trusted your intuition over their explanations. In practical terms, this manifests as you becoming more observant, paying attention to details you used to overlook, creating emotional distance to gain perspective. The psychological shift here is profound. You are moving from passive acceptance to active awareness, from giving benefit of the doubt to requiring actual evidence of loyalty. This Ace of Wands is your inner fire saying enough, and it carries the medicine of righteous anger, the kind that does not destroy but illuminates. Trust that initial spark of knowing. Do not let anyone gaslight you into thinking you are imagining things. That fire is sacred, burning away illusions to reveal what is real. The King of Wands shifted the energy from spark to sustained flame. This king sits on a throne decorated with salamanders and lions, symbols of transformation and courage, holding his wand with absolute authority. What is happening here is that someone with strong leadership energy, possibly a fire sign, or simply someone bold and assertive, is playing a major role in this exposure. It feels like there might be a person in your life who sees through this fake friend completely, someone with no patience for manipulation, and they are not staying silent. The King of Wands does not tiptoe around truth or worry about keeping peace at the expense of honesty. My intuition tells me this could be you stepping into your own power, claiming that king energy yourself, or it could be an ally who witnesses what is happening and decides to speak up. What I am picking up is confident, charismatic energy, absolutely unwilling to let deception continue unchallenged. In real scenarios, this looks like someone calling out the fake friend directly in a group setting, or organizing a conversation where facts are laid out clearly and people choose sides based on evidence rather than charm. There is this pattern where the fake friend relied heavily on telling different stories to different people, maintaining separate narratives that never intersect. But the King of Wands has the vision and authority to bring all those narratives into one room. The emotional landscape reveals empowerment and decisive action. No more wondering, no more second guessing, just clear, confident movement toward truth. Beneath the surface, this is reclamation of personal power. If you have been doubting yourself, questioning whether you are too harsh, the King of Wands says absolutely not. You are being discerning, and that is wisdom. The cards want you to know that standing in your truth, speaking it clearly, refusing to participate in illusion is not aggressive. It is self-respect. Work with this energy by being bold, trusting your right to boundaries, recognizing that real friends do not require you to ignore red flags. The Two of Swords stopped me in my tracks because it represents the moment of decision, the crossroads where denial becomes impossible. In traditional imagery, a blindfolded figure holds two swords crossed over their heart, sitting before water under a crescent moon. This person cannot see, will not see, is choosing not to see. What is really happening is your fake friend is in complete denial about the exposure unfolding around them. They sense something shifting, but refuse to acknowledge it, still believing they can maintain the illusion through sheer will and continued performance. I need you to hear this. While you and others gather evidence, have conversations, connect dots, this person sits in willful blindness, convinced they still control the narrative. The energy suggests they might even be doubling down on fake friendship behaviors, suddenly being extra sweet to you, offering unsolicited help, showing up more, trying to reassure everyone they are exactly who they claim to be. Something clicked when I saw this card, because it reveals their internal panic masked by external composure. They hold those swords defensively, protecting their heart, their ego, the identity built on lies. In daily life, this shows up as them becoming more careful with words, maybe withdrawing from situations where they might be questioned, or becoming overly enthusiastic and performative to prove authenticity. The psychological insight is that denial is their last defense, but it is unstable. You cannot hold two swords crossed indefinitely. Eventually your arms tire, your grip weakens, and the truth you defend against breaks through anyway. What the cards want them to know, though they probably will not listen, is that transparency now would be less painful than forced exposure later. But people rarely make that choice. They cling to the lie until it is ripped from their hands. Judgment arrived with the weight of divine timing and cosmic reckoning, and my entire energy shifted. This is one of the most powerful cards in the deck, depicting an angel blowing a trumpet while figures rise from their graves, arms lifted, called to account for everything they have done. This connects to that King of Wands energy, but judgment takes it to a completely different level. This is not just human accountability. This is spiritual reckoning, karmic balance, the universe itself, orchestrating the exposure. When this card appears about someone being revealed, it means the exposure is not accidental, not random, not something that could have been avoided. It was written, destined, part of a larger justice pattern playing out. From what I am interpreting, there is a moment coming, or already unfolding, where everything this fake friend has done, every lie told, every person manipulated, every confidence betrayed, will be brought into light simultaneously. Judgment does not reveal secrets one at a time. It pulls back the curtain on the entire performance all at once. Let me tell you what is happening beneath the surface. This person has been living a fragmented existence, presenting different versions to different people, and they actually believe they can maintain this forever. But judgment says time is up. The trumpet has sounded. In practical terms, this manifests as multiple deceived people coming together and comparing notes, suddenly realizing they were all fed contradictory stories. Or a public setting, a gathering where something slips, where the mask cracks in front of witnesses who cannot be charmed into silence. The emotional energy here is intense because judgment brings awakening. People defending this fake friend, making excuses, will suddenly see clearly. It is like scales falling from eyes, and once you see, you cannot unsee. The guidance is both comforting and powerful. You do not have to force this exposure. You do not have to become the villain by calling them out aggressively. The universe is handling this with precision and perfect timing. Your role is simply standing in your truth, maintaining integrity, watching as natural consequences unfold. The hermit brought energy of withdrawal, contemplation, and solitary truth-seeking. A robed figure stands alone on a mountain peak, holding a lantern containing a six-pointed star, representing divine wisdom and inner light. This card shows me that part of what led to this exposure, part of what made you available to see truth, was a period of withdrawal and introspection. There is this strong sense you pulled back from social dynamics, from constant interaction and performance, and in that quiet space, you began seeing patterns you missed before. The energy suggests that while the fake friend was busy maintaining external image, you were doing deep internal work, learning to trust yourself again, reconnecting with intuition, and that inner work made you impervious to their manipulation. What is really interesting is the hermit is not concerned with what others think or see. This card is about your own clarity, your own wisdom, your own truth. In concrete situations, this manifested as spending more time alone, journaling about feelings and observations, having deep conversations with one or two trusted people, rather than broadcasting suspicions widely. The hermit teaches discernment, the ability to distinguish between what feels true and what looks true. And that is a subtle but crucial skill. Beneath the surface, this card reveals you have been preparing for this moment without knowing it. Every time you chose honesty over harmony, listened to your gut instead of their explanations, stepped back to observe rather than immediately trusting, you built a foundation of truth that cannot be shaken by their denials. The psychological wisdom is profound. Real clarity often comes in solitude, away from noise and opinions and social pressures. The cards want you to know the work you did on yourself, the boundaries you strengthened, the intuition you learned to trust. These are permanent gains serving you far beyond this situation. As this exposure unfolds, continue being the hermit when needed. Continue seeking your own counsel first, and let your inner light guide you through whatever chaos the revelation creates. The Nine of Pentacles came through with such beautiful, grounded energy that I actually smiled. This card shows an elegant figure in luxurious robes, standing in a garden of grapevines, heavy with fruit, a falcon perched on their gloved hand, representing mastery, independence, and self-sufficiency. What I am picking up is that while this exposure happens, while the fake friend is revealed, and social dynamics shift, you are standing in your own abundance, your own accomplishment, your own self-created security. This connects to what we have been seeing, this theme of you growing stronger, clearer, more rooted in your own truth and value. The Nine of Pentacles says you have cultivated something real in your life, whether financial independence, creative success, emotional maturity, or simply deep self-worth, and that foundation cannot be shaken by someone else's deception coming to light. From what I am interpreting, part of why this fake friend targeted you is because you have something they want, something they have not been able to create authentically. Maybe your genuine relationships, your peace of mind, your integrity, your success, or simply the respect others have for you. There is this pattern where they tried to align themselves with your light, hoping some would reflect on them. But the Nine of Pentacles reveals you do not need them. You never did. And you will be absolutely fine. Better even, without their false friendship. In practical manifestation, this card suggests when the exposure happens and social fallout begins, you will not desperately try convincing anyone of truth or defending yourself frantically. Instead, you will stand calmly in your own garden, knowing your worth is not determined by their lies or the opinions of those who believed them. The emotional landscape is dignified self-possession. You are not reactive, not wounded beyond repair, not dependent on external validation. Beneath the surface, this is claiming your own power and value independent of any relationship or social approval. The guidance is beautiful. Focus on your own cultivation, your own growth, your own abundance. Let the fake friend's exposure be what it is, but do not let it become your entire focus or identity. You have a whole beautiful life to tend to, and the Nine of Pentacles reminds you, the best response is not exposure or confrontation. It is thriving authentically, while they scramble to maintain their facade. The Two of Cups genuinely surprised me in this reading about a fake friend, but the message is so important. Traditionally, this card shows two figures facing each other, exchanging cups in mutual respect, love, and authentic connection, with a lion-headed caduceus rising between them, symbolizing the healing power of real relationships. What is happening is a beautiful contrast being drawn. While the fake friend is exposed for their shallow, manipulative version of connection, the universe is highlighting or bringing forward genuine relationships in your life, real friendships, true alliances, people who show up without agenda or performance. I need you to hear this. The exposure of the fake is not just about loss, it is about making space for the real. The energy suggests, as this person's true nature is revealed, you might find yourself growing closer to someone who has been quietly, consistently present, or you might attract a new connection built on honesty from the beginning. Something clicked when I saw this card, because it reminded me the universe does not just take away, it also replaces what was false with what is true. In daily life, this shows up as a conversation with someone you have known, where you both drop social niceties and talk honestly about what you witnessed with the fake friend. And that vulnerability creates deeper bond. Or someone reaching out after the exposure, saying they never liked that person's energy, or always felt something was off. And you realize you have an ally you did not know you had. The psychological insight is about discernment and appreciation. Once you experience the stark difference between fake friendship and real connection, you never confuse the two again. You know what authenticity feels like, sounds like, acts like, and you stop wasting time on anything less. What the cards want you to know is this: Two of Cups energy is available to you right now and moving forward. Open yourself to genuine connection. Be willing to be vulnerable with people who have proven themselves trustworthy, and watch how different it feels to be seen and valued for who you actually are, rather than who someone wants you to be for their purposes. The Wheel of Fortune arrived spinning with the inevitability of karma and cosmic cycles, and the message was crystal clear. What goes around, comes around, and this fake friend is about to experience consequences in a very public, very undeniable way. The wheel shows figures rising and falling as the great wheel turns, with mystical creatures in corners representing the fixed signs, divine forces that witness and record everything. What is really happening is that the exposure we have been talking about is not random occurrence or bad luck for this fake friend. It is karmic balancing. They have been operating from deception, using people, saying whatever serves them without regard for truth or damage caused, and the wheel says that accumulation of karma has reached a tipping point. From what I am interpreting, there is a sense of public reversal happening. This person may have enjoyed certain social status, a reputation for being friendly or fun or connected, and the wheel is about to flip that completely. Let me tell you what is happening beneath the surface. They thought they controlled their image, their narrative, their position in social groups. But the Wheel of Fortune reminds us, control is an illusion, and justice is inevitable. In practical terms, this manifests as them losing friendships rapidly once truth comes out, being excluded from social events they used to dominate, or finding people no longer trust them or want them around. The reversal might be swift and shocking, or it could unfold over time as person after person independently decides they are done with the manipulation. the emotional energy, is about witnessing cosmic justice. There is something deeply satisfying, on a soul level, about watching the universe handle what you could not force. You did not have to become vindictive or cruel. You just had to step back and let natural consequences of their choices catch up. The guidance from the Wheel of Fortune is to trust in divine timing and cosmic order. Things happen when they are meant to, not a moment before, and the exposure unfolding now is perfectly timed for maximum impact and learning for everyone involved, including you. This is teaching you that you do not have to fight every battle yourself. Sometimes your job is simply to stay out of the way and let the wheel turn. The Emperor brought such strong, authoritative, structural energy that I had to pause and really feel what it was telling me. Here sits a figure on a stone throne decorated with ram heads, holding an ankh and an orb, representing dominion, order, and the establishment of boundaries and consequences. What I am picking up is that someone with Emperor energy, possibly an earth sign, or someone in a position of authority or leadership, is going to play a role in formalizing the consequences of this fake friend's exposure. This is not just social fallout. This might involve actual structure, rules, organizations, or formal accountability. The energy suggests this could be happening in a work environment where the fake friend's deception has professional implications, or in a group or organization where leadership needs to address the situation directly to maintain integrity. What is really interesting is the Emperor does not care about feelings or excuses or social politics. This card is about what is right, what is fair, what is just according to established rules and standards. In real scenarios, this looks like a boss or team leader having formal conversation about behavior and trustworthiness, or a group administrator enforcing community guidelines the fake friend violated through deception and manipulation. It could also represent you stepping into Emperor energy, establishing firm boundaries, making clear decisions about who has access to your time and energy, and refusing to negotiate on matters of basic respect and honesty. The psychological insight is powerful. Boundaries without consequences are just suggestions, and the Emperor brings consequences. This fake friend may have gotten away with their behavior for so long because people, including you, were more focused on keeping peace than enforcing standards, but that permissive environment is ending. Beneath the surface, what is happening is the establishment of a new order, a new set of expectations and accountability measures that will prevent this kind of manipulation from happening again, at least not easily. The guidance from the Emperor is to be firm, be clear, be unwavering in your standards and expectations. Do not let anyone make you feel guilty for having boundaries or for expecting honesty and loyalty from people you call friends. Work with this energy by being the authority in your own life, making executive decisions about who stays and who goes, understanding that real stability comes from structure, not from accommodating dysfunction to avoid conflict. The King of Swords appeared as the closing energy, and this card is absolutely perfect for the culmination of this exposure story. The King of Swords sits on his throne with his sword raised vertically, pointing to the sky, representing intellectual clarity, truth-speaking, and the power of words and communication. Butterflies are carved into his throne, symbolizing transformation through mental clarity, and the sky behind him is clear. No confusion, no obscurity, just sharp, undeniable truth. What is happening here, and this is the culmination of everything we have seen, is that the truth will be spoken clearly, publicly, and with such precision that there will be no room for the fake friend to spin the narrative or play victim or gaslight anyone into doubting what happened. My intuition tells me that someone, possibly you, or possibly an ally with King of Swords energy, an air sign, or simply someone who values truth and justice deeply, is going to articulate exactly what this person has done, laying out facts systematically, calmly, devastatingly. There is this pattern where all the pieces we have seen, the initiation of truth, the bold action, the denial, the cosmic reckoning, the inner wisdom, the contrast with real connection, the karmic turning, and the structural consequences all come together in a moment of absolute clarity where the truth is spoken and everyone hears it. Let me tell you what is really happening. This king does not speak from emotion or revenge. This is cool, collected, factual presentation of what happened. In practical terms, this could be a group conversation, a written statement, a public acknowledgement, or even just a one-on-one confrontation where the fake friend is faced with evidence they cannot deny and questions they cannot deflect. The emotional landscape reveals liberation through truth. Once everything is said, once reality is acknowledged, there is relief, weightlifting, finally being able to move forward without the burden of pretending or wondering. Beneath the surface, the King of Swords represents your own mental clarity and ability to see the situation objectively now, without the fog of manipulation or confusion of mixed messages. What the cards want you to know is you have the intellectual and emotional tools to handle this situation with grace, clarity, and firmness. You do not have to be cruel, but you also do not have to protect someone from the consequences of their own choices. Work with this King of Swords energy by speaking your truth when the time comes, by trusting your mental clarity and perception, by using your words with precision and purpose, and by understanding that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for everyone involved, including the person being exposed, is to stop participating in the lie and let reality be what it is. Cancer. As we close this reading, I want you to sit with everything the cards revealed. This is not just about watching a fake friend get exposed, though that is certainly happening. This is about your own evolution, your journey from giving people benefit of the doubt at your own expense to trusting your intuition and establishing boundaries that honor your worth. The story the cards told is one of initiation, action, denial, divine justice, inner wisdom, self-sufficiency, authentic connection, karmic balance, structural consequences, and ultimate clarity. Each card built on the last, showing you a process already in motion, energies already shifting, truths already surfacing. Remember, this is a general reading for entertainment purposes, and you should take what resonates and leave what does not. From what I am interpreting, this exposure is not something you need to force or orchestrate. The universe is handling it with precision, and your role is to maintain your integrity, trust your intuition, speak your truth when appropriate, and stay focused on your own growth and authentic connections. The fake friend's unmasking will happen in perfect timing, and when it does, you will be ready. Not because you are vengeful, but because you are clear. Not because you need validation, but because you know your truth. And in the aftermath, when the dust settles and social dynamics reorganize around reality rather than performance, you will find yourself standing in your power, surrounded by genuine relationships, wiser and stronger for having gone through this. Trust the process, Cancer. Justice is not just coming, it is already here.